All right. So light language is really, let me do this first here so that, okay. Light language is really the voice of your soul. And we have, as human beings, connections to many realms and realities. And some of us are aware of these connections, and some of us are not as aware. And either way is fine. I happen to be very aware of a lot of my connections, connections to the galactic realm, connections to various places within the universe. And the light language that I speak, I feel a deep resonance with. And I could call it the voice of my soul or something else. But what has been identified is that the beings that come through when I speak light language are called the Maneirah Light Beings. And they are a group of beings that were very instrumental in the creation of this universe. So their energetic signature has a lot to do with being a creator. And as I have spoken them over the years, they've activated me and those who receive the messages with codes of creation and the energy signatures and templates for being a creator. They've also recently really been working with us to activate our DNA and balance our brains and align us to higher frequencies and align us to our souls. So they have a deep understanding and way of working with us as humans that activate our soul abilities and our spiritual gifts and talents. There's so much there, and I feel like really I'm at the beginning of bringing them through. I've been sort of private with the Maneirah Light Beings, and I kind of reserved when I spoke light language for people in the Creation Temple, and I've kept it kind of quiet, but I'm now putting it more out there more broadly on my YouTube channel, on Facebook, on social media, etc. So what I'm going to do today is share a transmission from them. And I don't know what's going to come through. I don't know what their message is going to be for you, but I will tune into this group and the energies of this group and what's needed, and they will do the same. And I'll just open myself as a channel to bring through what is for the highest alignment for the group today. So just give me a moment to get in that space, and then, well, you'll know when I start speaking, you'll know. Komokushate hia ala ngomokuchoto uihiamo ngomokuchata te hiashi fakushopo ngomokuyata tatea shimanga kachoto ya ngomokuchata te hia kachiata tomo ngomokuchata ta hi a alame ngomokuchoto to hoya chi bakoto. We invite you to open your heart, open your mind, open your spirit to receive our transmission today. Ngomokuchata te fiisha gototo ngomokuchoto hia shibakoto ngomokuchata te ya mokuchoto o lima kuchata te ba ngomokuchoto o ya fishikoto ngomokuchata le la ngomokuchoto o fisha ketete imo okchoto to hi la ngomokuchoto to huisha makata ta te ya. We prepare the space around you. We prepare your hearts and your brains and your nervous systems. Ulu ngamakachata. Ivishikatata yalamakuchoto hingamakachata hialala ngamakuchoto hi shafakatata alamakuchoto hula ngamakuchoto hi shamakatata yalabelele ngamakuchoto hula ngamakuchoto huya fishiokoto. Ha, vishikatoto ungamo shiakatata ilebe ngamokucho. Huyo kuchoto hunyaman lale hi anam angichoto to ungamo. Hiya mokuchata hi ya le angamokucho. Hiya Hushabo kutotobo hialale ngamakachati hiam umuku ngamukuchala pugucho lele ngamakuchiputo hele ngamakuchoto hele ngamakuchete le moe hele ngamakucho ale ngamakuchala le la ngamakuchoto la le mo kucheto mogo chikatadama ngomukuchiate kai shokotopoto ngomukya yeva shokototo yamo iya hoshibototo hoya ngomukucho ngomukucho hai. As this channel has spoken, you each have connections to different realms and realities, and if you wish, we invite you to set your intentions to open these connections now as your spirit is ready, as your human aspect is ready. Via show come toto limangama shikatoto ungamukucha antata ingangangangamushata te hila la la ngamakuchanta te hila nganku ishama anlelele ngankuchapototo hui shama. Hiva shukototo hoya leveng kumushike toto mokshototo ele huishokototo hui I a mukchototo o I fushakata hoya ngamukchoto ya fakushoto ya malalale ngamushokoto hia Voshe takopototo ngamukuchata fi ashakatata ngamukuchototo ulalale ngamukuchototo ulilele ngamukuchoto hi la 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 ngamucho fi shokototo ngamukuya la la le fi hashibakototo ngamukucho hai. We invite each of you to take a deep breath, to release what no longer serves within the wiring of your brains, within the wiring of your nervous systems. Husha yakatata mukucha ototo huya la bakuchita tihima kulolocho hukuchototo holo we will help you to disassemble the synapses and neurons that are no longer meant to fire and wire together. Ngamukushokototo huya la la le ngamukuchototo uishakata illa la ngamukuchototo ya alla makichata te illa la ngamukuchota illa la la le ngamukuchota la ngamukuchota la ngamukuchota ba yamala ngamukuchote la la ngamukuchoto ya alla makichaya tototo ya fue koshototo ngamukuchate ya shikototo amangangchiato te ia fushikototo shakototo wisha kototo mokuyata. Breathe. We invite you to breathe. Allow our frequencies to settle within your being. Allow yourselves to be grounded. Allow yourselves to anchor in. And we feel that there are some who have questions at this time. We invite you to, one at a time, if you have a question, to ask.
Raise your hand on the reaction button if you have something, because I have full screen here. Michelle, do you see anyone or nobody?
All right. It feels like there's questions.
I have one.
Okay, Michelle, you have first.
Can you hear? Oh, sorry.
What can we expect for the following months in the world globally?
They're not necessarily beings that bring through future information. I can tune in and see if they have a message. I've never done that with them before. The questions I think that they were inviting were more about what what is this about, or clarifying questions about what they have said. But let's see what happens. Why not? Mo shikata te hia le mo mo kucha onto o ia lo mo kucha o ia ma a lima kucha onto ia o mo kucha ata te ia a fu mo kucha onto to hot. It will be very important in the coming months for you to ground, for you to pay attention to your energy bodies, for you to be very aware about your energy, and to stay deeply connected to your planet Earth so that you can be grounded with the energetic changes as they are happening on planet Earth. There are many energetic changes happening on planet Earth. Planet Earth herself is expanding. The energy around planet Earth is expanding. The human body energy field is expanding. The nervous system is changing and rewiring. The human brain is expanding and rewiring. It is for these reasons that it is very important that you remain grounded. This is a time of great transition. This is a time of great change. And so it is important that you remain grounded during this time. We thank you for your question.
Thank you.
There were other questions?
Yeah, Linda, I see your hands and the other ones are coming up. Linda, go ahead.
Oh, thanks. I didn't know how to do it the other way. Thank you for that message. It was beautiful. And I'm just noticing as you're talking, you're using a lot of hand gestures. And I'm wondering if you are connecting with the aura around your body. You're doing a lot on the crown chakra. Do the hand gestures, does it have a meaning, those hand gestures that you're making? And how can you interpret that for us?
Yeah, I'll do my best to explain. So, and after you ask your question, if you could mute yourself, because there's a lot of background noise. The hand gestures are part of the light language. So some of them do have kind of mudras. They're symbolic energy codes that come through the hands, but also they do a lot with changing things in the aura and in the brain and nervous system. Like sometimes they'll have me tap certain places on my head or my body. And for me, it feels like what they're doing is activating certain things within my body or my brain, or they're changing things, they're rewiring things. So it also feels very much like it's a physical rearranging of things in my human body. And then I imagine that as you're receiving the codes and transmissions, that what I'm doing with my hands also translates to your body and your energy field as you wish to receive that. So, Linda, does that answer your question?
I muted you.
Sorry. It's I'm not connected with my mouse very well here out on the patio. That was beautiful. Thank you very much. I do energy healing, so I just thought it must have had some significance. And I can, neurovasculars in your head you were touching, and so I could really relate to that on an energy level.
Yeah.
So I thank you for that.
You're so welcome. And I have observed other people when they do light language. Again, could you mute yourself, please? There's a bit of background noise. I've observed other people when they do light language really work their hands a lot. And then sometimes they're even silent and they're speaking only through their hands. So as I move more and more into this and working more and more with them, it seems like my hands do more things. So it's not anything, conscious, like, okay, now put your hand in this position. It is very much energetic, and my hands are just sort of responding to the energy that I'm bringing through from them. So yeah, who else would like to ask?
Yeah, here we have Laureen.
Hi there. I wanted to say thank you as well. That was amazing, and I could feel different things happening in my body as the Federation was working through the various energy centers in our bodies. Thank you for being a wonderful channel for that. My question concerns the ley lines around Earth, and my understanding is coming to appreciate the overlapping and the continuity of the Earth's grid lines and the crystalline grid with the crystalline grid lines within the human form. And I'm seeking confirmation, and I believe that your shutter may be what I'm looking for. Thank you.
There are many overlaps. There are the ley lines around planet Earth. There are the meridians within the human body. There are the constellations that you see in your sky. It is the way the universe is set up, the way the body is set up, the way the galaxy is set up. There are many layers, many dimensions, many realities in which this overlap occurs. We will allow this channel to speak now. Lorene, thank you for that great question. One of the things, and this has probably been a few years now and I still haven't brought it through, but I was alerted to the awareness that the human body and the organs and the body systems are reflective of the star systems and the different constellations, but I haven't had the time or energy or financial funding to like set aside the amount of time I would need to bring through all of that information. But the Maneirah Light Beings were just showing me also a visual. So I have worked with an Arcturian doctor, and he showed me his brain, and his brain was huge, like larger than most heads on an Arcturian being, and it would light up. I would see it light up. Different parts of his brain would light up when he was working with me, and it looked like a galaxy inside of his brain. So that was another visual that I saw. So yeah, I would definitely confirm and affirm what you're feeling about that. I've certainly felt that as well, and have had some awareness about that. Powerful stuff.
Thank you very much. It's amazing, and I'm noticing the shifts and changes that are occurring with the solar flashes and the light codes that are coming from the sun in the last 2 months have been supercharging everything that I'm feeling. I've been working with the ley lines and the grid work on my own property, and I know that that's extending within a 500-mile radius from my home. I've been shown the grid working out into the center of Lake Huron, and trying to work with harmonizing the energies so that they support all life, not just human life, but all life. And so I'm grateful for the connection to the human grid and to the dimensional aspects of that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for your work as well. And I'm reminded of the picture of the placenta and the tree of life and how they are one and the same, basically. So there are all kinds of representations of that we see in nature, affirming and confirming what you were asking about. Other questions?
I had to close the door in the window. My neighbor started the lawnmower up. Cindy, you have your hand up. You are next.
Hi, I have some codes for you, Susie.
Okay.
Okay, so my guides are telling me to give you this, all right?
Okay.
Oya mono no mono mo hiena mahai so yishi asaya ana na mahana na mahai ya oko ho yishi mo kore na.
Thank you. Are there questions from anyone else?
Kyle had his hand up. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I was just wondering, is there anything we can do to assist in the recovery of our memories? Or is that just going to be something that's a natural process that's going to occur when it's time?
Memories, what kind of memories are you? Human memories? Other memories?
No, my light energy memories that are, of course, not with me now.
Shmokuhala lelehia shibekatate amalala kamokuchate amalale ngamokuchoto tohuia lemakachata iamale ngamokuchiata te makashiata talolo ngakomuchate ngamakayalala ngakamalala ngakamajalala ngakamalali ngakamajalala ngakamajalali ngamanochieta lalala ngakachoto. As your frequency continues to raise, your memories are of higher frequency. And so as you work with raising your frequency, those memories will come back. As the increase in your frequency matches the frequency of the memory, it will return to your conscious human awareness. Ngamokushate hialala ngamochoto yang como yulolo ngamakchete alaha havekishiato tolo ngamokuchoto hialala. We are assisting you now to activate them within your DNA at this level. Ngamokuchoto toholala ngamokuchete lele ngamokuchoto tohola vekushiomoto toela lamakuchiata toholela ngamokuchaleleha yamokucho ngamokuchata ngamokuchode ngamokuchate ela ngamokuchato to uya fiesho. Thank you for that question. I'm feeling a lot of heat in my body, so it may not be in your conscious memory yet, but it's being activated at your DNA level. So receive that.
Sorry to make you work so hard there. Thank you very much for the answer.
No worries. Happy to be of service. Any other questions?
Yeah, Lucy, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for all that. It's wonderful to watch this. My question is on light therapy and the correlation and the benefits to imprints and openings of the language of light in that expression of healing.
I want to make sure I understand the question correctly, you're asking what does light language do with the body?
Well, if you're engaged in light therapy, like in using the different levels of the red, infrared, UV, and all that treatment being done on our human body, as that's being done, are there any imprints or openings that we may or may not be aware of that is also working at the light language level?
Huya shialala lehia ngomoya shikotoya ngomo hayo ratio mo kutata tola yakashiento ngomo kuinache ngomo kochiate along koya show yomo ngomo kuchiate yama ngoma isho kutohuya ngoma kuchato hana. There is a great expansion when working with the different frequencies in the light spectrum that occurs in the human form. And this does include light language, as the light language brings through other frequencies that speaking human language does not. Mahashayalinga Ulu Shimokulore Linga Moksholalungo Ulu Shimonia Chiatate Inga Mukuchatate ya Vrashikate Alain Mokushote Mokushototorian. As some of you can feel a difference between when this channel speaks and when we speak through her, there are different frequencies that come through. Does this answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Beautiful. Are there other questions?
Josie, you have to unmute yourself.
Hi. So nice to be here and just absorb the frequencies. So thank you, first of all, for that. I have a couple of questions. The first is I'm very curious to know more about who are the beings and maybe hear better their name and their origin.
Let's start with that.
Yeah.
That'll be one at a time. That'll be enough. Okay. Ooh. Mokusha otia mokusha oto ukembala inga mokucha tati hia fushu uto toto unga mokucha tiala yakacha toto humalale inga mokucha toto ivya ukisha toto humo unga mokusha toto tola via kucha toto kusha katata hia fukusha toto unga mokucha toto hia mo fika toto wisha katata ha. We are a group that makes up a variety of tribes, so to speak, that were part of the creation of this universe. We come from fractals. As humans, you are born through another human form. We came into being through fractals of light, and that is the best way we can describe it in your human language. We come from So there are many designs, many twists and turns in our frequencies, many, you could see us as fractals, as mandalas. We carry organization within our energy signatures. We carry expansion within our templates and energy codes. We carry foundational codes of creation, meaning we offer templates to set up the foundation within your DNA to activate your powers as creators. And as this channel described, we help you to align to your soul and to your aligned dimensions that are not of this human reality. Does this answer your question, dear heart?
Yes. May I question number 2? Or so it's my understanding that language or light and sound create like plasma fields that then manifest as our reality, both individually and connected to mass consciousness. And I'm very curious to hear how we can use our own voice as a light language, as we're inspired to express, in order to enable healing or manifestation, just like a rife machine would manifest frequency healing, but to use our own light and voice to enable that. I'd love to hear more about that. Thank you.
Beautiful. I will tune into the Maneirah Light Beings, and I also want to say that Prime Creator has talked about this. That's the other energy that I channel, the primary energy that I channel. And what Prime Creator says about that is that right now, especially, it's really important for us to be very aware of the sounds we emanate, not only the sounds that we speak through our voice, but the sounds of our emotions, the frequency of our thoughts, the frequency that emanates from our being at the cellular level. That all carries sound out into the universe. That's all part of what we're creating. That's all part of what we're contributing to the collective. So if we're in fear and we're putting out the fear energy, we're putting that in the collective energy. If we're in joy and we are, celebrating, we're putting that into the collective energy field. So we really have to step it up. And I'm talking to myself as well. We really have to step it up in terms of being very aware of our emotions and our frequency and what we're emanating. And I tend to be emotionally reactive at times when something triggers me. So I am like really working on that to keep myself in check so that I'm not, putting that into the energy field. So I will also ask the Maneirah Light Beings about what you have asked. Rei akacho ko pusha ko to hilai u kichimoto ai a u e o como kushata kamoyang kapochate kapochata kachoto ai. We give you the primary sound of ah and the primary sound of om, as many of you do in your yoga practice. Om and the ah, these two sounds are very important in projecting a soothing frequency into the energy field and heart opening frequency into the energy field. As many of you have experienced, the ah opens your heart. And the om brings through the peace. And Hui, ngamokucho otototo o. And that is why we are so grateful that you are receiving our sounds and our codes, because it is activating you to put a more organized frequency into the energy field. For those of you who are receiving us today, we are assisting you in organizing your energy field, organizing your cellular matrix, activating and opening your DNA so that the templates and energy signatures that you are putting into the collective field are more structured and organized and have that foundation of creating with intention. Hui, unku shakato unga mokusha to unga mokucha. Huyang kubucho to yang kushukoto uishupo. Hui, hoguchoto ulama. We answered this question, dear heart. Are there other questions?
Anymore? Otherwise, I'm coming up with two. One would be for me, and maybe other members listened the first time to that light language. It sounds sometimes like native language, American or whatever. Are there any native or languages still spoken, or were it spoken on Earth before? Is that some kind of light language?
So actually, very interestingly, someone that I spoke this to told me, and she's a channel as well. She said they're Hope, like one of the tribes that's part of the Maneirah Light Beings is Hopi, and I think she mentioned maybe Zuni and also Anasazi. So take that for what it's worth. It does certainly feel like a combination of, like they said, they come from different tribes, so it feels like a combination of different languages. With the clicks, I think someone put in the chat, click language from South Africa. There's the clicks, and then there's also, like, when I first started speaking it, it felt very like Chinese or Asian or something to me. That's not my area, so take that for what it's worth. But it just had a feel of like a Chinese language or something. So I don't know if that answers your question, Roland. The Kung people, they're in the movie The Gods Must Be Crazy. Love that movie. Yeah, does that answer your question, Roland?
Yeah, okay. And the other one would be with my background, moon picture icons, as some, I don't know, other members or somebody mentioned that could be written light language. Can they say something about it? What kind, whether that's language or energy, so what that shows up there?
Huya shimakoto to ifishikoto umukuchato iya. Anangchiato to ilamo yashum umukuchoto to illa. Namukuchato to ifishiang kuchipoto. Amokucha ala. Michato to ishimakoto to iafu unshankato. Ilya kuchato mash machato to ula makuchato shamukoto hivi ushmale kachipoto to. This channel has projected the image to us, and what we see is an organizing structure around the moon, because your moon does not have the purest frequencies. These icons are serving to restore more helpful codes for humanity coming from the moon. It is a form of light language, if you will. It is not necessarily what you would consider traditional, but it is a form of communication from a higher frequency. So yes, you could consider this a light language. Are there other questions?
Thank you.
Tina had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering whether through these energies that are coming in to our planet and our resultant higher energies, would we be able to better heal our physical bodies? For example, I have a condition from an old injury that I've had for probably at least 35 years, and I just live with it. Would higher energies enable me to possibly heal myself?
Love, love, love this question. So Prime Creator has spoken about this as well. And it is my belief that yes, that is possible because, the body self heals. And when we bring in higher frequency, when we integrate higher frequency, there is healing that is possible. So I believe anything is possible. Any type of healing within the body is possible. So I would say yes, absolutely. And I will ask the Maneirah Light Beings about this as well. Also, just a note, recently Prime Creator spoke about how our solar sun in our solar system and the great central sun are aligning, which is bringing through even more powerful sun codes. So they may be helpful in your healing as well. Hai, yashikatada, lemang kuchoto olale mikchiata alea, shukunmokia lea, mokuchata lea, mochate la la la, kuchiato tohura, lemang kuchare le, mokuchato to la, mochate la. Harishan katata hia mo shikata ola muku ola fia shikata anga muku choto ure fishiando oma ai shakota tarela mikishato to realo hela mo shokoto. We ask you to ask your DNA to turn on its self-healing properties. Your DNA has codes within it to heal the human body. We ask you to turn these on. Rai shakagmo kyolore kchama tele kchama tele mayakna ngama kchale langa kchmota la nchiatora e makchate la 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 le ngama kichto tole mukchoto to ngama kchoto langa nganga je ring choto to rion ta. Uishakatata makacha. Ya shukoto muchikoto to ya vishato to makachoto to vishinga tata ya makachoto to makacha. Ya shikoto to makachoto to fiashikata to huishama. Ya. Wow. Thank you for asking that question. Very powerful. I'm just curious if you are willing to share if you felt anything from that.
I feel that my head is shaking a bit, and it's maybe got my nerves a little bit activated, perhaps.
Okay. So before we close today, if someone were to remind me to do just a little bit of grounding and integration work, because these are very activating codes, and so we don't want anyone to leave this with the fried nervous system.
I see. Jennifer, you wrote a question in there. I want
Yeah,
to
I'm
say
just
it.
this here. Yeah, Jennifer, do you want to ask that out loud, or do you want me to read that?
There we go. I can ask it. I didn't want to interrupt anybody that had maybe something that was a burning issue for them. This is about maybe 2 years ago. I had been to some trainings down in Mount Shasta, and
Your sound
it
is
was
breaking
like
up. Maybe
a
can you
group
turn your
light
video
language
off?
meditation. My video is off here. Just one second. I can. Just a sec.
Well, now we hear you.
I've moved closer to the screen. My question is there a recommendation for if we wish to further open ourselves to what the universe needs us to do, or that option? Is there a recommendation for following along with light language meditation? Is there one that you would recommend as a primer or for beginners? Because it felt like I was tossed when I listened to these 7 or 8 people in concert, basically doing light language. It felt like I was chucked off the deep end and thrown into this where I'm basically shaking, and this is coming out of my mouth and I have no idea what to do with it. So I just was afraid to go back there.
Yeah, it can be a lot. Yeah. Thank you for asking. I actually do have a suggestion. This is a kind of a perfect segue. I am facilitating a light language symposium that starts July 31st. And there will be 9 days of light language activations and healings that you can participate in for free. And what I would suggest when working with those is to follow along with the grounding and integration that we suggest. Some of the videos do contain those suggestions, and I'll do that with you also today. And actually, I'm going to put a different link in there, Roland. Just give me 1 second to pull that up. This is a more specific link that if people use this, it will be better. But thank you for putting that in there. I appreciate it. So what I suggest, just as a starting out right now, what the Maneirah Light Beings suggested with the ah and the om, just to get you started working with your voice, opening your voice. And whatever comes out, let it come out. Like, we censor ourselves a lot, you know? Oh, am I really speaking light language? Or, oh, this is just gibberish, or whatever. Who cares if it's gibberish? Let yourself speak it. And then when it starts to become more pure, and when it starts to be more attuned to your actual soul language, you'll feel it. You will feel a deep, resonance within your body, within your being, within your spirit. And don't doubt it. When you start to feel it, don't doubt it. And maybe you've spoken it already, but you question it, and maybe you, Jennifer, specifically, or maybe other people, maybe you've started speaking already, but you question it. You're like, well, that can't possibly be it. That doesn't sound like any of the other light language I've ever heard, whatever. Our minds will come up with all kinds of things. But just trust what comes through and just let it come through. And maybe even record it and then listen back to it and see how it feels to listen back to it. See what is resonant, see what is dissonant, and start to play with it that way and have fun, This is not like a serious, okay, I'm going to activate my soul language now. Have fun with it, play with it. Let the sounds come out. Let the sounds in your voice, in your throat, just let them flow. When I first started with this light language and these clicks came through, I was like, oh, well, this is very interesting, but it's kind of fun. and I could feel the frequency of what was coming through me, and so I trusted that instead of questioning, okay, well, what the heck is this? This must be nonsense. I could feel the power of it, and so I trusted that. So those are my suggestions.
Thank you.
Great question. Thank you. Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, Tom.
Oh, hi. Yes. So I don't think I'm as sensitive, so I can't kind of detect the energies sort of regularly. But I mean, it's obvious to me that we're going through a big change, and I'm reasonably certain everything will be good, nice, and much better eventually, but right now there's a lot of turmoil and problems, and particularly one of the problems is there's a lot more polarization in society. People have, before, like 2-3 years ago, I'd have differences of opinion with people, we could discuss it and then just move on. And now that, people close to me in my life, where it just seems like we have such totally different views about what's going on in the world that, it's difficult to even talk to them. And I'm just wondering, like, how do the energies relate to this division and polarization in society, and how do we relate to people where, I look at what's going on in the world and I see it this way and they see some totally different way, and I'm just wondering, how do they not notice what I see?
Yeah, I'll handle this one instead of asking the Maneirah Light Beings. I feel like I have a pretty good handle on this. Music is one thing that is still uniting people. So the power of sound, the power of music. And what I love about, so I have a modality called Didgeridoo sound healing, and it's simply my didgeridoo and my voice, and it's toning. There's no words. And what I love about the wordless music is that it can't engage our mental faculties to dissect it. It hits our hearts. It hits our energy fields. And so I suggest that kind of music. Just, maybe you're getting together with family and you have tough discussions. Just, play a little ambient music in the background that doesn't have any words, something like that. And then also, Prime Creator and I have talked a lot about this. This is a time of great illumination. So polarity will increase until we as humanity learn how to transcend it. There are other societies within our galaxy, within our universe, that know how to transcend polarity. We as humans on planet Earth have not yet mastered this. There are a few people that are, fairly good at it, but as a whole, as a society, we have not mastered transcending polarity. So we need to experience it, unfortunately, until we figure out how to reach neutrality and 0 point, how to transcend. It's not that we can't have an opinion. It's not that we can't fall on one side or the other, but to not bring the judgment energy towards someone who might fall on a different side than us. And so to remember this overall perspective that we are in a time of great illumination. Everything that has been going on for eons of time, that has been lurking in the shadows, is now coming to the surface, and that is a good thing. And it's not easy to witness and observe. It's not easy to experience and go through it. They are chaotic energies. It is tumultuous. However, everything is being illuminated, and that is really good news. Because as the illumination occurs, then we as humanity can choose something different, something better. We can rebuild our society, create new paradigms, create the new earth, all of those good things. So, Tom, is that helpful? Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Okay. Cindy?
I've been getting messages about the 5G and the different rays that are going to be coming in, and what things are going to be happening. Also, too, if I don't know if you noticed, our moon and our sun the other couple days was orange. And I've been talking to other friends, and they're saying that Mars energy is leaving Earth. Is that what we're seeing? Because they're trying to say that it is the fires that are going on, that we're having the sun and the moon behaving this way. But I think there's something more to that.
I can tune in. Sorry, there's some background noise. I'm just going to mute you because it's making my noise. I can tune into the Maneirah Light Beings to see if they have anything to say about that. Intuitively, I feel like that's a better question for Prime Creator, but let's just see if they have anything they want to say about it. Ni shakatoto shimokototo ungamokuchata hiva shikototo ungankachata ila limkuchoto ungamokuchata hila shiakatata mo unkishioto wisha ali akuchon rela kuchoto unrishmaliro kuchoto uya unkucho. Much manipulation, much bending of the light is occurring. Mokuchukoto uili shiamokoto shiva little shigmota ala ngamokuchoto or shototo we chototo uila mokucha. Even the purest light is sometimes harnessed and bent to distort what is truth. What we would encourage you to do is to stay in your hearts. We understand you want to analyze with your minds. But the wisdom that you truly need will come through your heart. That is what we will say about this for now. So I guess interpret that as you will. And I relate. As a human, I have an active mind and an active curiosity, and I, want to know these things too. All right. I need to wrap this up for time. I see another question. So any final questions here that we can answer for you? Josie.
Thank you. I just don't want to keep you over your time. So if you want to end it here, please feel free. Okay. So I heard you mention something about the frequencies from the moon, which kind of instigated a question for me. I've always had an understanding of it being kind of a recycling center where our memories are wiped and we are kind of almost programmed to come on back to a new incarnation. So I was wondering if you could comment about that. And also I've been getting like kind of understandings or downloads about after we die being in a reality where there's an artificial grid matrix where the ascension of different dimensions happens, but it's still within a container, and the possibility of piercing through all the grids and frequencies to find a complete liberation of being outside the construct. And I would love to hear what they have to say about that. We
invite you to set your intentions to connect directly with Source. There is a silver platinum cord that comes out of your crown that can connect you directly to Source. We invite you to activate that connection and tune into this channel directly. This channel meaning your direct connection to Source. It is possible to transcend all of these artificial grids and matrices that have been set up to entrap soul energy. It is possible to pierce through that. And this lifetime, for many of you, you are getting off this karmic wheel, so to speak. You are making your direct journey back to Source. So we invite you to nurture that connection directly with Source and intend to set up that direct connection. Call in your silver platinum cord Source connection. I feel like that is a perfect place to end. So let's just very quickly do a little grounding integration meditation so that none of you leave with fried nervous systems. So I'll just invite you to close your eyes, and if possible, do put your feet flat on the ground and really feel your pelvis. Feel your pelvis in your chair. Feel your root. Tune in to your feet and your root. And set your intentions to anchor into your body, connect with Mother Earth. Anchor your essence into your body. If there is any part of you that has left during any of these transmissions, we invite you now to return to your body, integrated at the highest frequency, integrated at your healed frequency, returning fully back into your body now in your highest alignments, in the highest frequency possible, anchored into your body, grounded into Mother Earth, sending roots down through your root, down through your feet, down to the core of Mother Earth, allowing your limbs to become heavy, allowing your feet, your pelvis to become heavy and to sink into Mother Earth. Breathe. Breathe deeply through your body, deep, deep, deep down into your body, breathing through your pelvis, through your root. Breathing the energy from the core of Mother Earth up through your feet, up through your root. And breathing your essence and energy down through your root, down through your feet into Mother Earth. Anchoring in your connection. Thank you.